I need to practice my English. How should I do it? Maybe I could watch a movie, or how about a TV show? Or maybe listen to a podcast? Nah, I think I'll read a book, but I don't know which book to read. So nowadays, there are more resources to learn languages than ever, which is amazing. We never have to go to the library and study these huge books. Really, in fact, we never even need to leave the comfort of our homes. However, on the other hand, this can make it really overwhelming with so many different resources and tools to choose from. How can you possibly know what to do on which day at which time? That's why today we're giving you a completely free study plan. And the great thing is that all of it is concentrated on just using one app, which is completely free, the RealLife English app. So before we start, if you have not already, make sure that you download the free app by clicking up here or down the description below. Or you can simply search for RealLife English in your favorite app store. You can pause the video if you need to, and come back here after you have downloaded it and created your free account. All right, so let's begin. So it's really important when you're learning English that you vary the approach to the way that you're learning. Just like when I go to the gym, I don't want to work out the same muscles every single day. I need to vary what I'm doing so that I can equally build all of my different muscles. Makes sense, right? However, so many different learners when studying English tend to just focus on one area. They don't have that balance that they need to use the language effectively in different ways. So the idea behind this weekly study plan is to help you to be confident and natural speaking English, reading and writing in English, and understanding anyone. So every single Monday, we release a new podcast episode that is perfect for practicing your listening and your reading with different accents. You can listen to it right on the RealLife English app with a full transcript. So when you open up the listening part of the app, you will see that you can choose different episodes. When you choose the newest episode, you'll have both the transcript and the notes. And also notice that under the notes, you have a list of the most important vocabulary from that episode. Over on the transcript part, you can actually read the transcript of the episode and follow along as we're speaking. So on this first day, we recommend that you listen to the episode and read along with the transcript. And challenge yourself by trying to identify 3 uses of connected speech in the episode. Let's take a look at an example.
And in that case, you could, fit in learning new vocabulary, having a laugh, just listening to sort of natural, lighthearted conversation is always a good way to start your day.
Yeah. I like to actually do that sometimes too. A series that I've already seen, actually just doing it while I'm like washing the dishes in the evening. Because in the morning, I do like more productive things. I like listening to podcasts and things like this.
In this example, we can hear 3 connected speech patterns. And the cool thing about the app is that you can reduce the speed by tapping right here. So for example, if your listening isn't so confident, then you can go as low as 0.5 speed. But let's try it out at 0.8 speed.
Just listening to sort of natural, lighthearted conversation is always a good way to start your day.
Yeah.
All right, so you've made it to day 2 of the study plan. So what you're going to do is go back to the same episode, but this time we're going to focus on vocabulary by going to the notes section. So go through all of the vocabulary notes there and the definitions, and be sure to note down any of the words that you don't know, along with the example from the episode in your vocabulary notebook. And today, I really want you to just focus on 3 of these words. So spend some time thinking about them, try to think of different ways that you could use them, even write down some different examples with them, and say them out loud to yourself to practice. And now are you ready for a little bit bigger challenge? So you're going to open up the speak part of the app to connect with someone else in the global chat. So what you can do here is connect with another English speaker from another part of the world for a 4-minute conversation. And the way that you're going to challenge yourself, especially here, is by trying to find an excuse to use these different 3 words in a conversation. Or maybe you could have 3 different conversations and try to use 1 word in each conversation. You could even try teaching these different words that you're learning to your speaking partner, because teaching is a really great way to strengthen your knowledge of these words. So let's give it a try. Let's say that I learned the words enlightening, breakdown, and unwind while listening to the podcast. So now I'm going to go connect to another English speaker and try practicing these words during the conversation. Hey, how's it going? I'm Ethan, and you are?
Hello Ethan, I'm Thiago, nice to meet you. So tell me, what did you do last weekend?
You know, I always try to unwind on the weekend by reading books. Do you like reading books?
Oh yes, I do. I love reading books in English. Do you have a favorite one?
Oh yeah, there's a ton. But one of my favorites has got to be The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's really enlightening. It's all about what different successful people have in common.
Nice. By the way, you used some words that I didn't understand. What does enlightening means?
Oh yeah, of course. Well, enlightening is when... Are you enjoying the lesson so far? Then be sure to subscribe so that you can catch new lessons like this one every single week. Because here at Real Life English, our goal is to help you go from feeling like a lost, insecure English learner to being a confident and natural English speaker, just like you can by using the app. Okay, on day 3, you're going to challenge your ears by listening for comprehension. So you could choose a new podcast episode or go back to the one that you've already been listening to and listen without relying on the transcript. Just really trying to tune in to understand as much as you can without that crutch. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word. The idea here is for you to really catch the gist or the main idea of what's being spoken about in the episode. And then you could take the practice a bit further by writing a summary trying to describe what you learned in the episode or what the conversation was about. So here's an example of a summary that I wrote about podcast episode 283. In today's episode, Ethan and Kase gave some tips on how to develop a routine to practice English every day. Some of the tips were watch an episode of a sitcom, listen to podcasts, reserve the morning time for more productive tasks, play series you've already seen while doing the dishes or any other activity around the house. It was a really useful episode. Finally, you can listen again with the transcript to test your comprehension. How'd you do? All right, now how about doing some mimicry? Mimicry is about imitation, trying to emulate what you hear as closely to the original pronunciation and accent as possible. Since you have the transcript, you can practice reading it out loud, pretending that you're one of the hosts of the episodes. Imagine yourself saying those words in that situation. Reading out loud is a really great way to improve your speaking skills.
Welcome to the Real Life English podcast, where we help dedicated English learners just like you cultivate the courage, the confidence, and the skills.
And then as an extra step, you can listen to the original audio and compare your pronunciation. To take it to even next level, you could try recording yourself and then comparing those side by side. And now it's Friday. And let's take the challenge to the next level by practicing your speaking skills. And I don't just mean getting in a conversation with someone, but let's actually make it deliberate. You want to actually have some specific goals with your speaking, not just to have a casual conversation about the weather, which isn't really going to challenge you at all. Here's some examples of how you can be specific with your goals. So you can connect to another learner and talk about your favorite TV series. You could even tell them what happened in an episode that you watched recently. You could create a list of interesting questions, or you can look these up on the internet. There are tons that I used to use when I was teaching. And you could challenge yourself to use different questions in every single conversation that you have. This is really great because it'll also have you speaking about a diversity of topics, which is going to really expand your ability to speak on different themes. The more deliberate and specific that you are with your practicing goals, the better. This is really going to stretch you to improve your speaking so you don't get too stuck in intermediate. So now it's the weekend. I'm sure you're pretty tired from a long and busy week of English studying and maybe working or other studies that you're having to do. So we don't need to be quite so deliberate with our studying on the weekend. If you can have a conversation with someone on the app, that's really great. If you can listen to a podcast while you're doing something else, that's also fantastic. One thing I do highly recommend, though, that you carve out some time for on the weekend is doing a reflection about your studying over the week. This is really nice. Maybe you can brew yourself a cup of tea or make a cup of coffee and sit down with your favorite playlist of music, maybe in English, and just reflect a little bit upon your week. And let's take a look at some questions that can help you to do this in case you're not sure where you can start with your reflection. Okay, so did I practice my English every day this past week? How did I practice my English? What did I do? How effective was my practice time this week? Should I add or delete something on my study plan for the next week? What new words or expressions did I learn this week? How many people was I able to speak with on the RealLife English app? Where were those people from? What did we talk about? And how can I improve my routine in this upcoming week? Now, I highly recommend that you keep a record of these reflections because it will really outline your English learning journey. It will help you to see where you've made mistakes, where you can do better, and what's really worked well for you. So there you have it, a complete 7-day-a-week study guide for you to improve your English just with one app, the RealLife English app. Definitely download it if you have not already. And I want to hear from you. Have you tried out the RealLife English app yet? How has the RealLife English app helped you to improve your English? Why don't you share with me and your fellow learners down in the comments below. So just to recap, here is what your weekly study plan looks like. Feel free to take a screenshot of it if that will help you. You can put it up on your fridge or maybe put it as a screensaver on your phone or laptop so that you can see it every single day and know what's up for you next during the week. And do you ever feel like you can write really well in English, but you just can't speak it? Well, we made a video just for those of you that have this problem. You can check that out next. Let's watch a clip.
So Ethan, how was the movie? I heard some people were disappointed with it.
I liked the movie. I think my favorite character.
Does this feel familiar to you? Well, today we will look at some of the reasons why you might feel more confident writing English than you do when you speak it. And we'll also give you 4 practical tips that will help you to feel just as confident speaking English as you do writing it.